Peace. Welcome to Profit and Purpose Live. I'm your host, Evolve Benton, the Speaking for Profit strategist. Today, we're talking about sales navigator success, lead generation mastery. And I am going to do a demonstration for you of how we utilize the Lead Gen app on LinkedIn to connect with decision makers. So I'm taking you under the hood, behind the lens, right? You're getting a little bit of the macro level of this experience. Several of you, I've met you through cold emailing or messaging, and it's been amazing to build relationships with you. And I honestly think that these type of systems, if used in the right way, can connect you with organizations around the world that need your products, services, or experience. And today we're going to create a campaign where I'm going to show you how, particularly right now, I'm interested in taking some of my skills of being an amazing sales development representative. I'm wrapping up a course with Course Careers to be able to learn more about it. But I've been doing it in my business for the last 4 years, finding and prospecting folks to support them with public speaking, communication, getting on stages, getting in boardrooms, speaking at summits and conferences. So I want to be connected on LinkedIn with as many sales managers, directors as possible so that perhaps I can work for a tech company. I would love to work for a cyber security company or even a really great financial SaaS product that I believe in. But I want to start building relationships with sales managers. So I created a list last week during our live to be able to do that. And now I'm going to take the list and put it into our lead generation system so that it can be going even when I'm working on other things in my business. And that's what I love about this. So it's going to be a really simple campaign, but I'm hoping that through this, you will be able to see how this system can be used with integrity to connect you with decision makers. So if you're watching right now, just going to put hashtag live in the comments. If you're watching in the near and dear future, put hashtag replay, and then we're going to get into the conversation. So for today, I am going to take you through the process. I've already created a leads list, so we won't go through how to create the list, but I will show you what list we created last week. And if you want to get more information on that, you can look at the replay from our last training. But today we're going to take that list, put it into the Lead Gen app, and I'm going to show you how that system works so that you can explore and decide if this is something that you may want to install in your business in the near and dear future. What we do is if folks are interested in installing this in their business, there's two ways you can do that. You can work with us in Speaking for Profit Academy, and this is perfect if you're a speaker or a consultant looking to connect and get on more stages or to be a consultant for top Fortune 500 companies. This is perfect for you. It's a 4-month program. It gives you opportunity to also be in a mastermind community. So not only will you have a system that helps you to reach out to people, you'll have a community where you can do some collaborations, potentially some co-facilitation. I have a few clients even right now working on grants together, right? So it gives you an opportunity to be in that mastermind. That's one opportunity. The other opportunity is we do have VIP days that I host with people who want to install this into their business. And the reason we do this through VIP days, we've done this before where I've just said, hey, here's the app, go on and use it. But a lot of times if it's not installed correctly and people don't understand how they're going to use it, whether you're training yourself or your team member, you end up not utilizing it and kind of wasting money. So we want to have a VIP day, make sure it's installed and make sure that it works. And those are the two ways you can get access to the app. I know that question is probably going to come up in today's training. So I just want to make sure that I let you know about that as we get into the demonstration. So I see someone's here live from LinkedIn. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you being in this space. Okay, great. So let's get into the conversation for today. The first step of this is for you to create a list. You got to have a list of people that you're going to reach out to, and you got to know their demographics and their titles. We talked about that last week. So let's go look at the list we were able to come up with last week. And it should be here. Let's see. Okay, let's share this with you all. And then I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger so that you can see this. And then I'm going to take this amazing banner off so that you can see what we've created. So last week we came in and I told you I wanted to be connected with more sales managers at tech companies in particular. So that's what I'm interested in. So we created this list of folks and we looked at account executives, sales managers, account managers, sales executives, sales specialists. And then we looked at them from Microsoft, Google, Amazon Labs, Amazon Web Services, Apple, Facebook, VMware, NVIDIA, Out in Tech, and Salesforce. So this gave us around 1,000 results. And since we've created this list, it looks like, well, no, actually, it's only showing 73, right? So it's given us 1,000, but only on this page is 73. That's what it's letting us know. So what I normally do is when I create this list, I look through the locations and where people are at. And I see that we have a few folks here that are outside of the US, which is fine. As you can see right here, Tim O'Brien, core account executive at Salesforce, is in the United Kingdom. Definitely open to be connecting with folks out of the country about sales as well. Oh, this is really cool. This is someone who's at Google, but they're in Brazil. Nice. I love Brazil. So if you start to look through and you're like, okay, these are the titles, the locations, the people I want to connect with, you're good to go. And then next, what we're going to do is we are going to go into the app. Just give me one moment so I can log into that and we can get into that part of the conversation. And the reason we're logging into the app is we need to set up a campaign. That is what this action is called that we're going to do. We are going to set up a campaign so that we can reach out to these folks. And this is going to be really simple. This has the ability to set up a campaign. Actually, a couple. You can set up 2 to 3 campaigns and you can send up to, I think, 5 or 6 messages throughout the campaign. The idea behind this, folks, is that people will end up getting your email or your message at some point. And when they get that message from you, what you want to be able to do is follow up with them. So what we're doing in this is we're hoping for a response so that we can follow up. And then we can move them to the next step in our sales process. For many folks who utilize this type of system, that next step will be getting on a call or setting up some type of demonstration to share the product or service. That would be the next step, right? So for this, since I'm reaching out to account executives and sales folks, potentially for employment, my hope is just to connect with them first and then set up a 15-minute coffee chat so that I can get to know more about their work in sales and the organization. So this isn't really a, hey, can I get a job type of campaign, but this is a audience awareness. And I also want more people who are at the top tech companies in sales on my profile, because I do plan to utilize the knowledge that I've learned from course careers and the knowledge that I've learned as a business owner around sales to create more content. So also I want to build relationships with people who are doing that, right? So why not do it here on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn is a place where people handle business. So I've got the lead gen app up and I just want to show you a little bit of the app. As you can see, now that I'm signed in here, this is my sign in information. If I go to home, currently I am running one campaign. And then I'm going to just, these are some of the messages coming in from folks, right? Tells us whether it's a go or not, but I'm running one campaign. One is paused, right? And this lets me know that. The next tab here gives analytics on how the campaign is going, right? And it kind of says like, what is your invite sent health score? This is powerful because it allows us to know if the messages we're sending to the right people, if they're getting that connection message and actually connecting. So ours is between 16 and 25 is excellent. So we're doing excellent when it comes to that. It'll show you how many invites have been sent out in the last couple of months. It'll also show you how many invites have been accepted compared to sent out, and then the connection rate, right? Total connections 43%. That's a really good campaign as far as connections. With connection message 43%. So you get to see how many people are just connecting or waiting for that message to come through. And then LinkedIn follow up sent, right? Like how many messages have been sent in the follow up, follow ups received, LinkedIn reply rate, LinkedIn replay rate. So it gives you a lot of data. I'm not going to go through each data set, but that's what I love about this, y'all. Like being able to see this and then see on the back end how your campaign is working can really help you as a sales development rep or as a CEO of your business to make sure that the money you're spending to reach out and to get connected with folks is actually building the relationships that you want to. So that's what I love about this as well. What we have over here is you can toggle because you used to have an old dashboard that you can switch to. I'm not going to show you that, but I do like the new dashboard that our developers have created. So this has been really great. So that's the analytics section. Then we go to campaigns. This is what we'll be setting up today. This is the current campaign that we have going on. There's a template section where you can create your messaging templates. If we click there, you'll see that. We have a few different messaging templates that we've created. I also have an AI generator. I've never really used that because I like to create my own messaging. I might use AI to support me with the ideas around what I can say, but I'm going to end up using my own messaging at the end of the day. I don't want to use things that are too AI generated because I'm really focused on building human connection. And I don't find currently that AI really supports with that. So I use it as a support system and all of that, but I don't use it to create the actual creative message. So if you're watching this and you're like, this app is interesting, you're loving the analytics, maybe you're a data geek like me, put the word data into the comments, put the word data into the comments if I can know where my data geeks are. Then we have integrations. This is like you could do email integrations, webhooks. I'm not going to get into that. We have our inbox. This is where our messages live. I'll show you a little bit, but I don't want to get too much into it because these are some private conversations happening. But these are current conversations I'm in with folks in my current campaign. And then we do have a blacklist. I think a blacklist is like people you don't want to contact, or if when you want to take off your campaign. I haven't used that section yet. So now that we've kind of did a walkthrough and you see what the lead gen app looks like, I want to show you how to set up your own campaign. So you're going to go over to campaign, and then we're going to go add new one. There's a few different ways you can do a campaign. You could do new connections. You could do existing connections. You can do open in-mails. You could do group and events only, right? So we're going to just do a new connection. It looks like for some of these, you have to have access to certain parts of LinkedIn, which I think I do with premium. But that's good to know. And then on here, it says LinkedIn only, but I do believe I'm going to check with the developers that we're able to do email outreach here as well, which I'm excited to kind of try out because I love cold emailing as well. So we're going to go for new connections because this is a new list. So we'll click there and then we're going to go next. We're going to name this campaign. You always want to name your campaign. And then I always include also the date. And then in the description, I include the intention. So I'm going to do sales managers in tech. And then description to connect for a 15-minute coffee chat and learn more about sales leadership. All right, great. So we want to know the intention of the campaign, and then we'll update that. Now, I do use Grammarly. I love her. If I'm thinking about AI, I love my girl Grammarly. And then we're going to put in the date, which is 2/4/25. So we can know when we had this campaign started. That's always helpful for me. And then we're going to go over to next. So now they're telling us here, how do we want to set up our connection request for this particular campaign? So do we want to, for it says, for more human-like behavior, we recommend selecting no more than 2 options at a time. So now you have the opportunity to make sure that you visit the person's profile first. And I think this is always helpful because then, the AI that's built into the app will see that as well, which allows you to gather more information. And it's telling us right now, like, when do we want to visit this profile? Is it at the first step? Is it prior to each step? Like, when do we want to install this? You can also set it up where the AI will like the latest post of the person, which is really cool, right? To show engagement. And also, you can set it up to, before the LinkedIn follow up is sent, that you endorse their top skills. So this is more of AI that's built in to show a more human experience. For now, I'm going to skip this. I think that for me, I just want to connect. And then I can kind of do some of this AI engagement on my own. Now they're asking, do we want to send an empty connection request without a personal note, or do we want to create a template? So what I've done is I would love to send a connection note. So I'm not going to click there, but instead I'm going to go in and put in my connection message, which I've already created. So I can grab it. So my connection message is here, kind of have it in a Google Doc. Um, and the first one is just, hey, name, notice your lead sales at your company. I'm an SDR actively learning about sales leadership, and your career path caught my attention. Would you be open to connecting? So I lead with consent, y'all. I want to make sure that anyone I'm connecting with on LinkedIn, and folks who are connected with me on LinkedIn know this, I want to make sure that you are given consent, that we can connect. And I'm just not trying to just connect with anyone. Like, I think it's important to do that and to lead with that as we're growing as sales reps. But it's also like what I believe in my business. And since this is a campaign for myself as an entrepreneur, I can have a little bit more flexibility with that. So want to make sure that we put in the first name column here, because this is information, right? And instead of saying at your company, I could put the word company here. So then it inputs the actual company name. Okay. Let's see if it allows us to do that. Fallback text, place that following text in this field is empty or missing. Okay. So actually, we're not going to do that because I don't think I did the message right in order for it to include that. But you could include the company's name. I think it's actually better because sometimes people have moved on. There's been a lot of transition, so I'm just going to leave it at the company. I'm an SDR who's actively learning about sales leadership, and your career path caught my attention. Would you be open to connecting? Okay, great. So we've got that template set up, which is great. And then we are going to, let me make sure. I don't want to do a follow-up message for this campaign. So I think I'm just going to leave it at one message for now. I did come up with some messaging though. What was the second message I came up with? Thanks for connecting. I'm particularly interested by your experience. I'm exploring my next step as SDR. Yeah, I think I just want to leave it at this and see how many folks I can connect with that respond, and then I'll follow up. And I might add in a second message later on, but for now, and especially for this walkthrough, I'm just going to move on now that we've created the message. Okay, so now it does want me to at least give one follow-up. Okay, which makes sense because they want a connection in one message. So we'll go on and put the message I have in here, and then we'll just rewrite that. So we'll do that. Okay, great. So thanks for connecting. First name, I am impressed by, okay. I'm exploring my next steps as SDR. I would love to learn from your journey in sales leadership. Would you be open to a 15-minute virtual coffee chat in the next couple of weeks? Instead of a couple of weeks, I'm just gonna say in the next week. I'm very direct and I want to get to the bag. I don't want to wait a couple of weeks. Okay, right? So we'll send this, let's say, a day after connecting, right? And then we have our follow-up message. So we'll say SDR follow-up message one. Okay, great. So now that we've created that, I think we should be able to move on. Template is not saved. Okay. See how to save the template. That's what it wants me to do. Oh, need a template name here too. Connection, message, SDR. Okay, looks good. Trying to figure out here with this new dashboard. Okay, there we go. Save template. Sometimes you just gotta look, yo. Look at the screen. Save template. So many of you are probably watching this and like, do you not see it on your right hand side? That's how you save it. Okay, great. So I always want to go through and read my messages one more time before I move forward. So, hey, first name, I notice you're leading sales at your company. I'm an SDR is actively learning about sales leadership and your career path caught my attention. Would you be open to connecting? Bam. Thanks for connecting, first name. I'm exploring my next steps as an SDR. I would love to learn from your journey in sales. Would you be open to a 15-minute virtual coffee chat in the next week? Looks great. Okay, great. Now we should be able to move forward. Perfect. Look at us. So there is a connection request limit when it comes to these particular campaigns. So for this one, we could do anywhere between 15 to 25. I want to do a little bit less because I have another campaign going. So we're going to set it up from 10 to 12. Just a little bit less since we have another campaign going. And then follow-up messages, we'll leave the follow-up messages. This is where you can adjust the campaign. So you can decide for yourself how you want the campaign. Look, I see someone made it in the chat. Data get here too. Okay, great. Yeah, I love my data. Give me my data every day. So you can decide the schedule and how you want it to be ran. I'd rather it be ran every day. People are online all the time. The times that you want them to reach out to people, I think these times are appropriate. And then, how often you want the campaign to be running. So that's that. Okay, great. And then it's kind of telling you what it's set up as. Okay, great. And then we create the campaign. Perfect. So in order for us to, now that we created the campaign, it's going to start reaching out to the folks on this list. But the one thing that I did notice about this campaign was that we did not put in, let me see, campaign members, right? So under the campaign members section here, we need to add in that list. And the way that we do that is we'll go to add contacts and we're going to do it by the URL because we already have a URL, right? But we also could just click here and do Sales Navigator, right? And you could click on search with Sales Navigator, search by URL, anything like that. But we're just going to do basic by URL through LinkedIn because we've already created it. And we are going to go back to that list I showed you we created here. And then I'm just going to grab the URL, copy it, go back over to the app, and then put the URL here and then validate it. Saying it's an error. So let me make sure I got all of my information for this. Sometimes you got to make sure you got a whole URL. Okay. Try to cut it and then see if it allows me to do it. If it doesn't allow me to do it here, I might need to go to the Sales Navigator. Okay, let's see. Let's do Sales Navigator. Sales Navigator search, add by pasting. Okay, so let's try this and validate. Bam, that was the one. So we needed to go over to the Sales Navigator section since we're using that. So it's going to validate. It takes a little bit of time for it to do that part of it. But essentially, what it's doing now is pulling people from the list so that it can start to send out that messaging. So, what it will do, right, is it will start to send out the messaging that we just input to folks who are on LinkedIn so that we can connect. So now that it's validated the list, it's gathered the folks. Remember, it was like over 1,000. We have it right here. Um, right? We're willing to say okay. And then after that, we're going to go start search. As y'all know, everything takes time. Wish I had my Jeopardy music for you, but maybe not because then LinkedIn or Facebook might kick me off. So look, remember Tim was on there, right? So now it's going to start to send these connections, right? Because it is currently going. So it says stopped here. So I'm going to press this play button because I think in order for it to go, it needs to be play. And now it's running, right? It's actually running and going to start to send messages out and start to connect with folks. And it's going to connect with the first 25. Then when I come back into this campaign, I can go into the analytics and see what's worked. I can also get messages in my inbox like I have here and follow up with folks and start to get into those conversations to book those sales calls. These also, you can set them up to come to your email. And you can set up a folder on Gmail so you can just go directly into those sales conversations or into those discovery conversations with folks and be able to move things forward. So it's quite simple, right? Very easy to set it up. Now we've got 2 campaigns going, reaching out to folks. And I'm excited to explore with y'all in the next couple of weeks, how this has helped me to connect with more folks in the sales industry and tech. So remember in the beginning, it said 1 campaign going. Now we've got 2 campaigns going, 1 running, 1 on pause, right? 1 on stop, right? So we've got a few things going on here. And the reason it only says 1 running is because this campaign is currently in momentum. Probably tomorrow or in the next few hours, it'll say 2 campaigns running. So that is how you utilize the Legion app. Now, what the reason we're doing this, y'all, right? Because we didn't talk about that, but I could easily go into like if you didn't want to use the app, and you're like Evolve, I know you have this app, but what's the quickest way to bag? How can I do this on a more of a budget? You could just sign up for LinkedIn Sales Navigator. They usually give you 2 months free when you get started, and you would have to go in and go here, right? You would have to go here, connect, or view the profile, send the message, and you would need to do that every day, right? Maybe you would do 25 a day, but by doing that, even if you're kind of copy and pasting, it's probably going to take you somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour a day. This skips past that part. Now the app is doing that, and you can just focus on accepting connections, getting into conversations with decision makers, getting on stages, getting booked. You can focus on that side of it instead of the tedious tasks. That's what the app does. The other thing the app does is it gives us data to know what campaigns work. So, for instance, today we turned on this campaign. In the near and near future, I might be like, you know what? I don't want this campaign on anymore. I've connected with enough sales folks. I've got an SDR role. Now I'm focusing on using this to connect with people in the technology that my company is selling. So I could turn that campaign off and start to reach out to other folks. Well, but then when I'm ready to turn it back on, I have the data and I can decide how I want to utilize it. So that's what I love about it as well. Okay, cool. I see people have to go back to see instructions from beginning, but still following the process. Okay, cool. People are wondering how to create a list. I did that training on how to create a list last week, but I am in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right? And the rate, often what happens, y'all, people will ask me, how did I learn all of this? And I am in Course Careers. Don't get me wrong. Course Careers has been an amazing course to put it all together. But literally, I met someone on LinkedIn. They did a training on how to use the Sales Navigator, and I have started to use it and just use it to connect with people. And then we got this amazing app to make it easier. And I just play with it and create and reach out to people and have conversations. And most people are kind because I'm not sending things that is just like, buy from me right now. I'm genuinely trying to build relationships and let as many people as possible know about the talents that I have and the skills that I have that I can support them with, or the software that I have that can support them in making things easier, or a podcast. I've done a podcast campaign when I want to get more podcast guests. So I want you to think about it this way: like there's only so many degrees of separation, and there's only so many people who you can connect with directly. We have to use automation to be able to help us expand our reach and realize that you doing this is nothing that doesn't have integrity, especially if you're sending the right messages and you're not just trying to sell people you don't know. You need to qualify the people and the customers that you're going to work with. But if you get really, really good at this and you get excited about this, you get to meet some really, really cool people. I was on a call today with someone from the Bahamas, right? And we had a conversation about the amazing work that she's doing. She's opening up a space and she's going to be getting her first home. And we might be working together on a VIP day to build out her membership community and her digital product. But I would have never connected with her if it wasn't for this. So I know that sometimes technology can get like, people can feel very much like we're taking the human out of everything, but we've got to use it to get it to connect us with more humans and then create the most human, beautiful experience possible. That's really what we need to use it for. So I know many of you probably have gotten messages on LinkedIn and your email, and you're like, this person is trying to sell me something that I don't even need. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect with the right people. And if I connect with someone and they're like, Evolve, I'm not interested or whatever it may be, I leave them alone. I move forward. There's more than enough people in the world who will want to work with me and want to support my business. So we're not coming from scarcity with this. We're coming from abundance. And that's why we reach out to an abundant amount of people. So this app has the opportunity, speaking of that, right, to reach out to 500 decision makers a month. And being able to do that has helped me also build up my LinkedIn. Like I have almost 12,000 connections on LinkedIn. And I know that I would not have that many connections if I didn't have this going on and I didn't have messaging that was human and allowed me to build relationships with people. So if you're interested in knowing more about potentially Speaking for Profit Academy, I want to give you an opportunity to learn more about that. Or maybe you're like, you know what, I just want to talk to you more about setting up a VIP day so I can get this type of software set up in my business. You just want to text the word S for P to 323-405-9492. Myself and my team will reach out to you and we can schedule a demonstration call to see if this is a perfect fit for you. So now that we talked about business, right, we've had an opportunity to talk about business. This is Profit and Purpose Live. This is a live segment that I do for my clients in Speaking for Profit Circle and Speaking for Profit Academy. Also for you all here that are here for what we call the free, but those folks get to tap in with me on a weekly basis and ask me questions in our communities to take this conversation further. But I always want to leave you with something that's also connected to purpose and not just connected to profit. This is how you can make money, right? Imagine if you use this to connect with so many people for your offer, for your service. This strategy we talked about today is going to help you do that. And I hope that the way I taught it can help you get comfortable with this, because this is a natural part of business. Like I said, the role that I'm looking to get, a sales development rep, literally prospects and finds business for people, whether it's getting on calls or using systems just like this one. So when you're talking about Salesforce or HubSpot, a lot of them have very similar ecosystems to the lead gen app. Very, very similar. So once you learn how to use this, you can use any of those softwares. But let's talk a little bit about purpose, right? Because purpose is just as important as profit. And I was having a conversation with a client this week who was telling me that one of the things they're working on is being able to create content, but not giving so much to their audience where their audience learns so much from them that they don't need them. And I've had this conversation with several clients before where people feel like, there's this thing that's taught in online business community that you should just give it all, give the house, give all the information, and then the people who are really wowed by that will want to work with you. And a part of me does think that that's true, but a part of me really thinks about it as purpose. For me, I've had people who've reached out to me and watched some of these YouTube videos. We have over 500 on our YouTube channel right now. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It allows us to continue to grow our impact. And if you're not on our YouTube channel, go and subscribe and find it. It's Speaking for Profit University. But there are people who've watched YouTube videos of mine and made a quick bag, like made $10,000, $15,000 to be able to help them to put a down payment on their home or to help them to take care of something for their family members or their kids or their parents. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful that the ancestors, that God, that spirit has given me the opportunity to leave information here on the planet if anything ever happens to me, knock on wood. And I'm also grateful because it's a part of my purpose. I want to be able to give to people and for them to be able to develop and create magical things that impact the world and allow them to get financially free. That is the purpose of my business. So for me, being on here with you during these trainings every Tuesday, doing this on a consistent basis, it's not just about potentially you all becoming a client one day. Like that would be amazing. We'd be able to break some bread together, but it's a part of a larger purpose to influx the speaking and consulting and coaching industry with as many folks that look like us as possible. And with the government and people who we're not going to name because they might take our video down, not wanting diversity, equity, and inclusion to be as powerful and robust and beautiful as it has been in this country, it's so important that I show up every week because that is a purpose that I'm driven by. So we have to look beyond, am I giving because I want to make a sale? Or am I giving because it's connected to my God given talent and I have the ability to do it? This skill set of sitting here, going through a demonstration, showing you how to do it, showing you how to do training and development, being able to put up a slide, knowing how to go live. All of this is things that I've learned, but the purpose is what drives me to be consistent and to show up and be here. So I'm going to put out content and some of it might be feel like, oh, you're sharing everything, but I share information. If you see me on the elevator today and we were at a conference and you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the same answer that I probably would give someone I'm on a coaching call with that's a paid client because I like to give resources. I'm a problem solver. I'm kind of solution based. Sometimes I might drive people crazy in my life, but I'm okay with that. And I want to solve problems. I want to help people. But what I do charge for is access to me because I do realize that I can't be the all for everybody. So if you want access to work with me one-on-one or a VIP day or in my community where you're really able to take advantage and go like deep, deep, deep into some of these conversations, you're going to pay for it. But if you're able to grab information from YouTube or the content or the amazing gems that I leave out in the world, that's the purpose of my work. I want you to take that and make something of it. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, like, how much should I give? Instead, ask, how much can I give? Can I give a little bit more? Can I actually show up and be an act of service a little bit more? Can I make it about my prophecy and not just about the profit? Am I able to do that? Because your consistency and your habits is what's going to show up in your success. You've got to just be consistent. So don't worry about sharing too much and people not needing you. People will always need you. And they're going to need you even more and more as we go through this interesting next 4 years in the United States. If you're in other parts of the world, I don't know what you're going through, but here in the US, we don't need each other. So I just want to talk about that. Like the reason I'm so excited and I show up with y'all, like it's 8:41, y'all. It's about to be 9 o'clock here in Atlanta. I'm just as pumped up as I probably was this morning on calls with people who are interested in working with me. I am excited to be here because this is purpose driven work. I'm not saying I don't get tired. I'm not saying I don't get frustrated. I'm not saying that I don't have my ups and downs as a CEO, but genuinely, I'm here because I want to be here and I want to create an impact in the world. And I want you to run your business in that same way, because if you're able to do that, the times when you don't have as many sales, the times when you don't have as many clients, the times where it might not feel like you're as impactful, you'll be able to tap into your true purpose. So purpose is so important. And that's why we have this session, right? Profit and Purpose Live, so that you're able to really think about strategies to get you financially free, but always remember that purpose is connected to the work. So that was my moment to have with you all, and I hope that it was helpful. So, the last couple of weeks, we talked a lot about how to use LinkedIn for these strategies, right? Like how to connect with people, how to get comfortable with the idea of cold emailing. And for some of you, you will never need to do this, right? Because you have a niche business that only needs you to connect with so many people. I want to connect with as many people as possible. I'm open to exploring that. So think about your business and if you need this type of tool. And if it's something that you do need, let's go on and get on a demonstration call. Let's have a conversation about it. You just want to text the word S for P to 323-405-9492, and then we can set that up. So I hope that this was helpful. I appreciate everyone who was here, and I appreciate folks who are watching in the future. And I want you to take this and actually run with it, right? If you do anything, go on and get your free trial. Go on and get your free trial of the Sales Navigator and create a list, or go back to that old training I just did, the training I did last week. If you're on YouTube, go to our live section and you'll see it. It's marked last Tuesday. Today's February 4th, 2025. So that should be probably the end of January 27th, I believe, 2025. Under our live section, you'll see it. I walk through how to set up and amplify your LinkedIn profile. That's the very first step. Your LinkedIn profile needs to be set up so that when you're sending these connection messages, people are like, who is this person? They don't have a complete profile. So go back to that training before you even step into this, because you might be watching this. You might have just ran up on this on YouTube. Like, you're like, I'm ready to create my list. Before you do that, let's go on and get that LinkedIn profile together. But if you need support, just know I'm here to support you. So thank you for coming. Continue to give and be good. Continue to be abundant. And I will see you all next week. All right. Peace.